And when you say that you won in the lower courts, that means somebody came and said, no, I want to try again at a higher court. Who is this group of people who's so mad at Becky? Like, who is behind this that won't take no for an answer?
I would love to tell you about the architects of these attacks against trans young people. You know, you have the Alliance Defending Freedom that has come in and written these bills that are copycat across every state in this country, banning transgender girls from participation in sports, banning our healthcare access, doing all of these things to prevent young people from just being able to stay alive and be themselves. And so, you know, they are the ones who were the architects of these laws in the first place, and then they've come in and defended these laws in court as well. And so we had, you know, the Fourth Circuit, which is the lower court under the Supreme Court, rule in Becky's favor, allowing her to play on the team on cross country and track over the last few years. And then you have the Alliance Defending Freedom coming in and asking for the Supreme Court to weigh in on a case where there's one girl who's participating, that's the only issue. And, you know, this is a record that's incomplete. You know, we're at the lower court for a reason, to test the facts. And, you know, one of the big open questions in this case, like still at the Supreme Court, is whether girls like Becky actually have any advantage, right? So HB 3293 excludes the consideration of the one actual factor that contributes to athletic performance, which is levels of circulating testosterone. And girls like Becky, who have never experienced their endogenous puberty and who have gone through a typical hormonal female puberty, do not have the advantages that West Virginia is trying to control for here. Yet, you have the Alliance Defending Freedom raising this to the Supreme Court, and you have a Supreme Court that agreed to take the case. So both things are true, right? Like, they requested that the Supreme Court get involved here. We know why. This has never been about sports. You know, this is about using sports as a springboard to greenlight discrimination against us in all of these other contexts. I think that's clear based on the fact that, you know, you hear these same stories about trans athletes like Leah Thomas and others who gave up sports years ago. Why are we hearing those same stories being pushed? It's because they want to use that example of one athlete doing well in sports to upend our protections in all of these other contexts. And that's been very clear that that's the goal of the Alliance Defending Freedom. They've even said they hope that sports is the card to make everything else crumble.